that will endorse liberal stands on issues like abortion. Mrs. Clinton says the U.S. delegation is a mix of liberals and conservatives who will work together to advance the causes of all women.
It is important that America play a leadership role at this conference. Issues of concern to women are crucial not only to the economic and social progress of our nation, but of every other nation. And we must help give voice to these issues.
Mrs. Clinton will address the UN conference tomorrow. Authorities are tightening security in France after finding another live bomb in Paris. Experts dismantled the 55-pound bomb without incident today near a metro station. It is the 5th attempted bombing in France in the past 40 days. 4 people were injured yesterday when a homemade bomb detonator exploded in a busy marketplace. No one has claimed responsibility, but authorities suspect Algerian fundamentalists. In the U.S., a key agreement is coming under closer scrutiny this Labor Day. A new study says the 1993 North American Free Trade Agreement is failing to live up to its promise of new jobs and increased exports to Mexico. The study was done by the consumer advocacy group Public Citizen, which opposed NAFTA. But Labor Secretary Robert Reich insists the trade pact is still good for American workers.
Job growth is very good, and anybody who is worried about loss of jobs needn't worry. Again, the Mexican peso crisis intervened, not because of NAFTA, but because of a speculative bubble that burst in Mexico. If there hadn't been for the North American Free Trade Act, that would have been much worse. We hope and expect that once Mexico gets back on track, that means more export jobs.
Those who disagree with the study say Mexico's economic woes make it difficult to assess NAFTA's impact. California's 3 strikes and you're out law is creating havoc in the court system there. It is pushing criminal cases into civil courtrooms and civil litigants into arbitration. Jennifer Arthur reports.
It's a day of reckoning for Manuel Garcia, a career criminal. He was caught stealing 3 pairs of jeans from a department store. A jury convicted him. Now his sentence.
1 year sentence to state prison for the prescribed term of 25 years to life.
California's voter-approved 3 strikes law is designed to lock up violent offenders. Mandatory 25 years to life for a 3rd felony conviction. But the high volume of 3-strike cases filed in Los Angeles County criminal courts is choking the civil court system. From January through June of 1995, more than 350 criminal court cases were transferred into LA County courts, which, among other things, creates a security problem.
In this particular case is a 3rd strike case. The defendant's facing 25 years to life.
Supervising Judge James Basque assigns cases to courtrooms, and in LA County, it's the equivalent of judicial triage. Currently sending about 30% of all criminal cases in downtown Los Angeles into civil courtrooms. He blames the logjam, in part, on the district attorney.
But it's my belief that there's more discretion being exercised in some of the other counties by the prosecuting agency.
In Los Angeles, even nonviolent felony crimes are prosecuted as 3 strikes cases.
We are aggressive in going forward with the law, but that's what the people wanted.
It's unwise and unjust because over 70% of the prosecutions involve current charges that are not violent and not serious.
Diane Harb feels she's been punished too. An overflow of criminal cases forced long delays in her personal injury lawsuit. No courtrooms were available. She finally gave up, settled out of court for less than she thinks she deserves.
I felt that I was victimized twice. It was appalling, the situation, being in court with criminals, seeing criminals shackled, in chains. I've never seen this before in my whole life.
Sending criminal cases to the civil courthouse means sometimes violent suspects mix with the public in unsecured hallways and elevators. Tom Dempsey is past president of an organization representing plaintiffs in personal injury cases. He's also Diane Harb's attorney.
As part of the 3 strikes law, people have to realize that if you're cases, you've got to increase the budget for the courts.
And in financially strapped Los Angeles County, voters are unlikely to approve higher taxes to pay for the 3 strikes law. Jennifer Arthur for CNN, Los Angeles.
I assume that
Hurricane Luis is barreling toward the eastern Caribbean. It is now a Category 4 storm with top winds of 140 miles an hour. It's centered 195 miles east of Guadeloupe and Antigua and moving west. A hurricane watch extends over the British and U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Warnings are posted from Dominica to St. Martin. Hurricane Henriette is dumping up to 8 inches of rain over Baja California and Mexico's Pacific coast. That storm is moving toward the northwest with winds of up to 100 miles per hour. In the Philippines, heavy rain from Tropical Storm Nina unleashed a landslide of volcanic debris today on towns at the base of Mount Pinatubo. Waves of boiling mud and ash washed into 6 towns, forcing residents to climb onto their roofs and wait for help. No deaths are reported, though. Dollars and Cents News is next and later. How to build a backyard refuge for some froggy friends.
It'll be a quiet Labor Day across much of the country with a few storms in the plains and parts of the Southwest and scattered showers across the lower Mississippi Valley.
This is Headline News, a CNN network.
They invade by the thousands, leaving an invisible chemical trail. But ants can be stopped by the exterminator, the Orkin Man. He wipes out ants and makes sure they never return. Guaranteed. Call him day or night at 1-800-800-ORKIN.
Are you looking for help in picking stock market winners? Investors Business Daily can help you find stocks in America's up-and-coming new companies.
To be competitive means to have relevant and very timely information. So I see that that's what Investors Business Daily gives me. I use it for my investments, but I found that the information that I read in it was timely to competitiveness.
Call 800-652-7800 to get this valuable audio tape, 100 Ways to Improve Your Investment Results, plus 2 weeks of Investors Business Daily.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vita Nelson is our guest. She's the editor and publisher of the Money Paper. We're talking about dividend reinvestment plans. Vita, how does one actually get started?
All you need is 1 share of stock. You can send from as little as $10 or even $10,000 without paying any commissions to a broker. These are the solid companies. These are the companies that have paid dividends for many, many years, and the reason these plans is because no one has any vested interest in promoting them. If you pick from among the 873 different companies in our Guide to Dividend Reinvestment Plans, you are doing yourself the biggest favor in the world.
And you might even have fun doing it.
Where can I get some information on the Money Paper?
Call now. You'll get the Guide to Dividend Reinvestment Plans at a special promotional price. It has every company that accepts direct investments. Plus, you get a free copy of the Money Paper. You'll see how easy it is to invest without a broker.
Call 1-800-321-6868. That's 1-800-321-6868.
As tens of thousands of women gather in China for conferences on education, health, and poverty, CNN's Judy Woodruff will be there. Watch Beijing 95, A Place for Women, tonight, 10:30 Eastern on CNN.
It is 15 minutes after the hour. Time for business news. Of course, our financial markets are closed on this Labor Day, but there's lots to talk about, and Myron Candelas in New York to bring it to us. Good afternoon, Mike.
Well, we're both laboring today, Lynn. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the way it goes in the news business. But Labor Secretary Robert Reich is using this Labor Day to promote the welfare of American workers. Reich said the White House will try to obtain a higher minimum wage and will oppose any efforts by the Republican-dominated Congress to chip away at the 40-hour work week. He said the present minimum wage, cents an hour, was approaching a 40-year low if adjusted for inflation. In related labor news, a report from the Economic Policy Institute says the growth of corporate profits in the 1990s has been based on stagnant or lower wages paid to workers. The Washington think tank says worker losses have yielded big gains for business.
Most people are losing real wages, and it's going to workers at the top end, workers with advanced degrees, and it's going in profits to corporations. Corporate profits are now at record levels. So what we could say is the economy's doing okay. Those who are at the top of the labor market are doing okay. Those who own a lot of stock are doing okay, but most people are not doing okay.
The report also contends that most American families are no better off financially now than in 1989. Japan's banking crisis is largely due to the housing industry, where more than $120 billion in bad loans may never be recovered. Bill Dorman reports from Tokyo.
It all began with a public-minded idea: help people build houses. In the early 1970s, major banks and insurance firms set up housing loan companies for just that purpose. But by the mid-'80s, housing loans were going to big developers, not individuals. When Japan's property market crashed, the housing loan companies needed to borrow money. Two groups were primary lenders: major banks and agricultural cooperatives. Today, those two groups share a problem.
But the agricultural cooperatives are very small financial institutions, financially weak, and really not in a position to take the massive hits that, say, the commercial banks have done in writing off their bad debts.
What they lack in finance, the agricultural cooperatives make up for in political capital. The farm vote is a key political consideration in Japan. And while bashing the banks can win popularity, no politician wants to be seen as abandoning the farmer. So Japanese authorities face outright losses in the tens of billions of dollars. And a nasty question:
how do you divide up the losses between the commercial banking industry, Ministry of Finance, and the agricultural financial institutions and their regulators? And I think that will be a very, very divisive and ugly fight.
It's a fight that will ultimately be refereed by the Ministry of Finance. It's also a fight that may give clues to a broader solution for Japan's banking crisis, and perhaps the beginnings of an answer to an increasingly common question in Japan: who's going to pay for this mess? Bill Dorman, CNN Business News, Tokyo.
And that's Dollars and Cents. Now back to you, Lynn.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Our headline sports report is next.
This is Headline News, a CNN network.
Are you getting all the relief you need for arthritis pain? Discover the first in a unique class of pain reliever doctors have trusted for years. Zostrix. So effective that even though prescriptions have never been required, doctors prescribe Zostrix and triple-strength Zostrix HP more than all other topical arthritis pain relievers combined. Zostrix is also proven to work hand-in-hand with oral medications for added relief, greater mobility. Zostrix, physician strength relief, is in your hands.
Everybody has morning breath. Unfortunately, not everybody has scope.
Crispix for me? Thank you.
Elizabeth says Crispix won't get soggy in milk.
We'll see. Starts off crispy. So far, you're right, Elizabeth, but still crispy. Okay, but reality will soon set in.
Kellogg's Crispix cereal. Delicious corn and rice that stays crispy to the end.
Last bite, gonna be mushy, soggy. Hey, it's still crispy.
More Crispix, Daddy?
Thanks. You're a doll. You too, Elizabeth.
I'm dead. Dead? I got 47 boxes to ship out by tonight.
Easy. FedEx shipping software. It's just point, click, and ship.
Really?
Bramwell thinks I'm working my tail off. Just point, click, and ship. Take a long lunch.
FedEx shipping software is so easy from your own computer.
Mr. Bramwell. I'm dead.
You're dead.
I'm dead.
You are really, really dead.
For free shipping software, call FedEx. We matched a hard-hitting former prosecutor with a tough-as-nails defense attorney. Together, they take a provocative look at today's most compelling cases. Greta Van Susteren and Roger Cossack. Burden of Proof. This fall on CNN.
I'm Paul Runnels of Headline Sports. The Cowboys and Giants put a wrap on Week 1 of the NFL tonight at the Meadowlands. Looking to get off on the right foot in Barry Switzer's second season. They're listed as 6-point favorites. It's the 10th time that Dallas has opened up on Monday night. That's to be expected, according to Switzer.
Because who we are, and I think that's why we're doing it. It's because of who we are, and it's kind of special.
You're a little special. Does
Yeah,
make you think
I
that?
think we are. Our guys think we're special. Those players in there think they're special, and they are special.
Is that why?
And y'all are lucky to be here too.
Monday night is like this. It's like a Michael Jackson being on stage at a concert. I mean, everybody want to know what's happening and what's going on. So that's what playing on Monday Night Football is like.
Here's your injury report from the weekend. Steelers All-Pro cornerback Rod Woodson will undergo an MRI tomorrow to determine the extent of his knee injury. He damaged his anterior cruciate ligament in Pittsburgh's win over the Lions while trying to tackle Barry Sanders. He could miss the rest of the season. The news not quite as bad for quarterback Neil O'Donnell. He fractured his pinky and will miss 2 weeks. Redskins QB Heath Schuler will be out 3 to 4 weeks after spraining his shoulder in their win over the Cardinals. Clyde Simmons doing the damage. Gus Farrat takes over. Tennis. 4th round from the U.S. Open, Andre Agassi in action, taking on Jared Palmer. Number 4, Boris Becker, over 13th seed Mark Rosset. On the ladies' side, Monica Seles takes on 11th seed Anka Huber. Afternoon baseball, M's and Yankees in a slugfest. Edgar Martinez with a 2-run shot. Cleveland taking on Detroit. California looking to snap a 9-game skid there at Baltimore. Milwaukee's at Minnesota. John Jaha, the grand slam. National League, the Cubs host the Rockies. Colorado starts today with a half-game lead over the Dodgers. The Mets are in San Diego. The Astros home to the Reds. Montreal taking on the Giants. Paul Reynolds, Headline Sports.
This is Headline News, a CNN network.
You know what I hate? Pain. That's why I love Aspercream. When I get mine on muscle aches, I just rub it in for fast relief that lasts for hours. And it's odor-free. Why live with pain? You're going to love it. Aspercream does not contain aspirin.
When is a stamp not just a stamp?
When it's the big one!
Hold on to victory with this year's World War II stamps. Now at your post office. Or call for our catalog. When is a stamp not just a stamp?
When it's the one you've been waiting for.
The Maryland stamp, now at your post office. Or call for our catalog.
Our florists use a special 10-step freshness care system. At 1-800-Flowers, we can guarantee your arrangements will stay fresh for a week. When people tell us we're fresh, we say thank you.
Save 50% during Bedding Liquidators' giant holiday sale. Brand name bedding, $38, $48, $58. Bunk beds, just $77. Brass and white day beds, only $98. Plus, receive a free gift of either a bed frame, brass headboard, or linen set with each bedding set purchase during this giant holiday sale at Bedding Liquidators. Instant credit with no interest and no payments for months. Bedding Liquidators with stores all around town and now in Lafayette and Kokomo.
We asked Harry the accountant, what can you get for the cost of 1 day of Comcast cable? How about a pizza, Harry?
Oh, just an 8-foot pizza.
Could you rent a video?
A quarter of one.
Surely an ice cream cone.
Half an ice cream cone.
So, Harry, what's the bottom line?
At around 75 cents a day, cable TV always adds up to a great deal.
Cable TV simply offers the best entertainment money can buy. Dozens of channels 24 hours a day. Take it from Harry.
Comcast Cable. One very sweet deal.
If you want to help create the future, Comcast Cable is the place for you. Comcast is a leader, not only in the cable television industry, but in cellular telephone and wireless businesses worldwide. Comcast Cable of Indianapolis is having a job fair this Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. for people interested in telemarketing and customer service positions. We offer tuition reimbursement, 401k plan, health insurance, and complimentary cable. Comcast, 5330 East 65th Street. Comcast, an equal opportunity employer.
When you need garage doors, you call Garage Doors. Garage Doors of Indianapolis. We sell garage doors, entry doors, and now replacement windows for residential and commercial use. For emergency service, we're ready 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. No matter what the problem, just remember. When your garage doors or electric openers need service, call Garage Doors of Indianapolis. Call us this morning for service today.
Today?
Today.
Water lilies, hyacinth, pickerel weed, these and other pond plants can be found at your neighborhood garden center. Plants, in turn, attract other wildlife like insects, the staple of a frog's diet. Even mosquitoes are on the menu. But while plants and insects will lure frogs to a pond, too many fish can drive them away.
Now, if there's not insects around, either because you have fish in the pond and the fish are taking all the insects before the frogs can get them, or because you have such an incredible filtration system that there's basically no nutrients left in the pond, that might not be real popular for frogs.
And what about toads? These bumpy-skinned creatures live on land most of the time, but come to a water environment to mate, just like frogs.
You see the eggs. I've seen the frogs actually lay the eggs, and it's all fascinating. I sit out here for hours and watch the animals in the ponds.
Without wetland areas like ponds, frogs and toads can't reproduce. This makes them vulnerable, and Tufts says among certain species, frog and toad populations are dropping.
The ones that we usually might get in our yard can use our help, but they're not probably endangered. But they're great to have around, and if we didn't have a pond, if we didn't have aquatic environments in our communities, they wouldn't be there.
Ponds are a great way to enhance your yard, but they also provide homes for lots of aquatic critters. And when designing a pond, if you strike the right balance between fish and plant life, one froggy fact remains: if you build it, they will come. Lori Waffenschmidt, CNN, reporting.
Coming up in the next half hour, the Bosnian capital is quiet as a UN deadline nears. Delegates at a UN Women's Conference proclaim a revolution has begun. And we'll see how department stores are helping shoppers become frugally fashionable. Details in 2 minutes. I'm Lynn Vaughn. This is Headline News.
This is Headline News, a CNN network.
Tonight on Larry King Live, Judge Ito rules on the controversial Furman tapes, and the defense cries, "No way." Guest host Jack Tenner reviews the twist of the Simpson trial. Tonight, 9 Eastern on CNN.
In the next 30 minutes, your world will change, and Headline News will be there to report it all. In the next 30 minutes, Headline News, a whole day's news every half hour.
This is Headline News, a CNN network.
This could be your arm. This could be your back. This could be your stomach. This could be your thigh. These could be your shoulders. This could be your body. This could be the way. The Soloflex Muscle Machine. Call now for a free brochure. This could be your arm. This could be your chest. These could be your shoulders. This could be your thigh. This could be your stomach. This could be your back. This could be your body. This could be the way. The Soloflex Muscle Machine. Call now for a free brochure.
CNN Center in Atlanta, this is Headline News. I'm Lynn Vaughn. With the NATO deadline fast approaching, the Bosnian Serbs are sending conflicting messages. Bosnian Serb leaders tell CNN they are complying with a UN demand to withdraw all heavy weapons from around Sarajevo. But the UN and the Bosnian government say they have detected no movement. Bosnian Serb General Ratko Mladic responded to the UN demand with only an offer of a ceasefire. Serb leader Radovan Karadzic phoned former President Jimmy Carter and promised moves toward compliance. Carter says the weapons withdrawal could take some time.
The holdup on the part of the Bosnian Serbs is that before they completely remove the heavy weapons and leave those positions defenseless, they want some assurance from NATO that those positions will not be attacked by Bosnian government troops.
The removal of heavy weapons from around Sarajevo is just one of the demands the UN says must be met within the next 3 hours. The UN is also demanding an immediate end to attacks on Sarajevo and complete freedom of movement for aid workers and UN personnel. Assistant U.S. Secretary of State Richard Holbrooke is in Greece continuing diplomatic efforts. He's organized a conference with the foreign ministers of Bosnia, Croatia, and Serb-led Yugoslavia for Friday to be held in Geneva. Bosnia's prime minister says only the threat of force will keep the Bosnian Serbs in line.
They did not have yesterday any uncontrolled elements shooting for themselves. So that means that they can control their weapons when they want to. And they will control their weapons only if they're afraid of the retaliation. That is why I think if the Serbs do not comply within hours now, that the air raids should continue. And that is the only way to make peace in Bosnia.
Prime Minister Selajic says as long as Sarajevo is surrounded by the Serbs, it is like negotiating at gunpoint. Hillary Rodham Clinton has joined thousands of women in Beijing today for the United Nations World Conference on Women. The First Lady heads the U.S. delegation. Pageantry and protest marked the opening of the session today. Delegates were greeted in traditional and not-so-traditional welcoming ceremonies. Winnie Mandela, the estranged wife of South African President Nelson Mandela, was caught in a shoving match with Chinese security guards when she arrived late to the opening ceremony. Pakistani Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto made an impassioned speech in defense of Islam and spoke of equality for all women.
I think for women it's really one long uphill battle, and the battle never ends, because as soon as you think you're at the end of one battle, another begins. And I think women do have to go that extra mile to prove that they are as good as men, and I hope the day will come when women won't have to prove themselves again and again, and it will be taken for granted that men and women work equally well.
Conference participants are learning about women of different cultures, but Judy Woodruff reports some of the most important lessons are passed on from mothers to daughters.
The director of the U.S. delegation to the Women's Conference, Marjorie Margolis Mezvinsky, is also a former congresswoman and a former TV reporter. Her daughter, Lee Hay, is in Beijing following in her mother's footsteps, working on a TV documentary on the Women's Conference for the University of Missouri.
I love seeing her here. I used to be doing television, so for me to see her doing that is it's touching. I love being here with her.
I think it's really exciting, actually. I think seeing daughters with their mothers who are here is really wonderful to see, because it just shows how these issues need to get passed down from generation to generation in order to progress in any way.
Mezvinsky met Lee Hay in 1970 in Korea when she was working on a television series on the region and was interested in adopting a child. Lee Hay was a 6-year-old orphan. Mezvinsky brought Lee Hay to the U.S. on a student visa and adopted her a short time later.
It's especially lovely being back here with Lee Hay so that we can share these not only this part of the world, but these ideas. As Lee Hay was just saying, to be here knowing that you've got to pass the baton, that for women, it's going to be a struggle. It's always, I mean, we've come so far, and yet we have so far to go. And to be able to look at it through similar eyes at the same time with this kind of energy is very exciting.
And how does Lee Hay feel about being back in Asia?
The only thing I can tell you is that everyone comes up to me and assumes I'm Chinese and starts speaking to me in Chinese, so that's kind of amusing. But, so I'm getting, obviously, a totally different reaction than other people who are here are getting from the Chinese people.
What does Mom think of the job her daughter's doing?
And I kept on saying to myself, because I used to do what she is doing, I kept on saying to myself, oh, I hope Lee Hay got that shot. I knew, did you?
I probably didn't.
And have mother and daughter grown closer by this experience?
We're on such good terms now. Before we hardly spoke.
No, we've always been really close.
Well, I think one thing I can say is that from talking to some of these other women, it's really, you appreciate more of what the struggles that your mother had before you did. I mean, I think people of our generation take so much for granted, and you don't realize what led up to it.
Judy Woodruff, CNN, Beijing.
Authorities are tightening security in France after finding another live bomb in Paris. Experts dismantled the 55-pound bomb without incident today near a metro station. It's the 5th attempted bombing in France in the past 40 days. 4 people were injured yesterday when the detonator of a homemade bomb exploded in a busy marketplace. No one has claimed responsibility, but authorities suspect Algerian fundamentalists. Kashmir separatists have claimed responsibility for a bomb that exploded in northern India today, killing 13 people. Witnesses say the victims included soldiers who were deployed in the area to counter the separatist violence. The bomb exploded near a downtown hotel where international journalists have been staying, but a caller claiming to be from the rebel group says the soldiers were the target. France has seized a 3rd boat, protesting plans for nuclear tests in the South Pacific. Yesterday, the French military commandeered a yacht that violated a 12-mile exclusion zone around one of the testing sites. 2 Greenpeace ships had already been seized. The boats are part of a protest flotilla launched to disrupt the testing. France says it has not yet begun. French officials say Greenpeace knew what would happen if their boats went too far.
The Greenpeace people wanted to have publicity. They entered the exclusion zone. They were warned several times, and they still did it. So it happened what had to happen.
30 nuclear protesters in Japan have started short-term hunger strikes. They're part of a sit-in outside the French embassy. Hurricane Luis is closing in on the eastern Caribbean. Luis is now a Category 4 storm with top winds of 140 miles per hour. It is now within 155 miles of Guadeloupe and Antigua and moving west. A hurricane watch extends over the British and U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Warnings are posted from Dominica to St. Martin. The eye of Hurricane Henriette has crossed the southern tip of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula. The storm is moving toward the northwest with winds of up to 100 miles per hour. A natural phenomenon was spotted yesterday off the coast of Delaware and Maryland. Several waterspouts formed and churned their way across the water. The whirling columns of spray and mist usually form in tropical areas. Almost 50 years ago, it was reported a UFO crash-landed in Roswell, New Mexico. Greg Lamont reports the town is still cashing in on its celebrity.
Stardate, early July, 1947. Destination, planet Earth. There's a report of a downed alien spacecraft in the small community of Roswell, New Mexico. Walter Haut was told by his military commander to issue the following press release.
We have in our possession a flying disc. I believe that in the article itself, it refers to it as a flying disc rather than a flying saucer.
News of the alien spacecraft hit the front pages. These are purported to be photographs from a film that just surfaced this year, taken by the military, of autopsies performed on alien bodies, allegedly discovered near the crash site. But within hours of the alleged UFO encounter, higher authorities in the military issued another news release saying it was an experimental weather balloon.
When the general says it was a weather balloon in 1947, it was a weather balloon.
What do you think it was today?
Today, I think it was something extraterrestrial.
It became known as the Roswell cover-up and was the basis for the 1994 Showtime movie entitled Roswell.
The Roswell incident, if you're interested in the subject of flying saucers, it's the only time in history that the military made a statement in which they said they'd actually captured one.
The military has never since officially acknowledged direct contact with a UFO. But that hasn't stopped Roswell from making contact with thousands of new visitors from distant locations. In July, Roswell held its first annual UFO Encounter Festival and drew as many as 11,000 visitors.
Whether there's a cover-up or not, I don't know, but I think they're possible. Definitely possible.
This girl is a bit more pragmatic.
Well, I think of UFOs like as unidentified flying objects.
Fact is, Roswell may well be the UFO capital of the world, boasting not one, but 2 museums on the subject. One of them, a converted video store.
Locally, you know, a lot of people made fun of us, kind of treated us like we had the disease. They didn't want to get too close. A lot of prank phone calls and stuff like that. And so, wasn't a whole lot of support here, no.
But when the Earthlings started seeing this, watch out. Where else can you get Galaxy Juices or Pluto Pups or Alien Dolls?
Anything's possible these days.
Visitors are treated to photographs purported to show actual sightings of UFOs. There's a mock autopsy room where the alleged aliens from 1947 were said to have been taken. And then there's the replica of the alleged crash.
What do you think about the alien back there?
If you're thinking Roswell may have gone a bit close encounter crazy,
Odd.
maybe so. But let's face it, green is green, right? Greg Lamont, CNN, reporting.
Labor Day isn't a day off for President Clinton. He is currently dedicating a college in Monterey, California. Cal State Monterey Bay exists on a portion of what used to be Fort Ord. There may be another reason Mr. Clinton returned to the Golden State. Labor Day serves as the traditional kickoff of campaign season. And with its 54 electoral votes, California is a must-win state. Consumer News is coming your way next and later. Saving money by buying store brands just doesn't happen at the grocery store.
The east remains pleasantly cool today while the heat continues from the plains to the southwest.
This is Headline News, a CNN network.
Get your pen ready to put something at the top of your list. Try Investor's Business Daily for 2 weeks free.
Anything having to do with the economy and the confidence level and the employment levels and the leading economic indicators, those are the things that I follow very carefully.
Call now to get this valuable audio tape, 100 Ways to Improve Your Investment Results, plus 2 weeks of Investor's Business Daily free. Call 800-441-3737. Do it now.
Now, all the strength of Imodium AD is concentrated in the smallest, easiest to swallow anti-diarrheal caplets ever made. So powerful they can work in one dose instead of dose after dose of the pink stuff. New concentrated caplets, only from Imodium AD.
Do you hate your dandruff shampoo? Does it dry out your hair? Make it smell like medicine? Try Neutrogena Healthy Scalp for healthy-looking, shiny hair with no dandruff. Neutrogena Healthy Scalp for people who hate dandruff shampoo.
Do you love the mouth-watering taste of perfectly cooked, delicious bacon, but hate that unhealthy fat and grease? Yuck! Introducing Bacon Wave, the amazing patented breakthrough. Cooks perfect bacon in any microwave in just minutes. Bacon Wave makes the leanest, tastiest bacon faster and easier than any other method. Simply place bacon in the slots, skewer each slice, and place it in the microwave. It's that easy. And Bacon Wave is stackable. Cooks up to 28 pieces. Fat and grease strip into the lower pan away from the bacon. Less fat, less cholesterol, fewer calories. Just the world's best bacon. From juicy to crisp, perfect for breakfast, a BLT lunch, or a great salad. Bacon Wave stays cool to the touch, yet bacon is crisp and hot. No splatter, no burns. And it's dishwasher safe for fast, easy cleanup. Order Bacon Wave for just $19.95. Now you can bring home the bacon. Order today.
To order Bacon Wave, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-257-1333. Or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $4.50 shipping to Bacon Wave, P.O. Box 2969, Atlanta, Georgia.
Wall Street is quiet on this Labor Day Monday, and a Hoffa wants to head the Teamsters. For those details and more business news, we go to Myron Candell in New York. Mike.
Well, thanks, Lynn. Oil indeed is quiet on Wall Street on this Labor Day holiday, but investors have been making noise of the summer. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up more than 6% since the Memorial Day weekend. For the year, it's up more than 21%. The dollar is trading in Europe, but it isn't moving much. It's up slightly against the Japanese yen, down a bit against the German mark, and up a bit against the British pound. Should we get our avocados from Mexico? California growers say buying avocados from our southern neighbor could wipe out their business. Casey Wyan reports.
California avocado growers trying to hold off an invasion from Mexico. They're protesting plans to lift an 81-year ban on Mexican avocado imports.
We're the ones who are going to have to pay the price, and USDA doesn't really care about that. They're more interested in NAFTA.
California supplies 95% of the United States avocados. Farmers say if the ban is lifted, their $250 million a year industry is in jeopardy from Mexican fruit flies and other pests.
They want this market. They have a lot of avocados and they want in here. That's fine, but not when they have pests. It's not about competition. If that bug comes into our groves, we're dead.
We would plead with you to change, to reconsider what you're about to do to California. Thank you.
The Agriculture Department proposal would allow Mexican avocados to be shipped to 19 Midwestern and Eastern states, but only from November through February, when pests would freeze and the California harvest is slow. Mexico is the world's largest avocado producer, 5 times as many as the United States. Mexican officials say they've exported avocados to Europe and Japan for years without a problem.
They argue that this is a phytosanitary concern. Perhaps in the back of their conscience might be the fear of being affected in an economic competence.
Californians pay more for local-grown avocados than Canadians pay for Mexican avocados. That's because Mexican growers have an edge: cheap land, labor, and water. It costs half as much to grow avocados in Mexico as in California. Mexican farmers hope to begin selling avocados in the United States next year, but the USDA won't say when it plans to make what California farmers say is a life-or-death decision for their industry. Casey Wyand, CNN Business News, Escondido, California.
The British drug company Pfizer's again rejecting a takeover bid from a U.S. rival, Rhone Poulenc Rora. The U.S. unit of the French drug giant Rhone Poulenc is offering 240 pence per share, or 1.7 billion pounds. That's about $2.5 billion US dollars. But Pfizer says the bid is too low, considering the earning potential of its asthma inhaler. Hey, Jimmy Hoffa wants to lead the Teamsters Union. This time it's Jimmy Hoffa Jr. Before a crowd of supporters, he officially announced he wants to head the labor union his father once headed. Next year's election will be only the second time that Teamsters rank and file select the president. Hoffa is challenging Ron Carey, the incumbent, who was elected in 1991. And that's it for this edition of Dollars and Cents. Back to you, Lynn.
Okay, thanks so much, Myron. Happy Labor Day. Headline Sports is next.
This is Headline News, a CNN network.
They destroy your home from within. Termites. You need the exterminator, the Orkin Man. He stops termites and makes sure they never return. Guaranteed. Call him day or night at 1-800-800-ORKIN.
As you know, Kellogg's is the raisin brand that tastes so good, people forget it's good for them.
I didn't forget. Forget what? That it tastes good.
No, people forget Kellogg's raisin brand is good for you.
How could they forget? With all these raisins, of course they taste good.
No, good for you, for you.
Wouldn't it be great if it was also good for you? Huh?
Now buy one 2-scoop sundae at Baskin-Robbins, get another one free with a coupon from Kellogg's 2 Scoops Raisin Bran, of course. See package for details.
When learning something new, you often give control to someone else. It's the same with investing. But soon, with the right kind of help, you're ready to take charge. You're ready for Charles Schwab.
The whole idea behind Schwab is to help investors help themselves.
For example, Schwab can help you make informed investment decisions with unbiased company research reports. And with our Street Smart investment software, you can place trades, get quotes, and easily manage your portfolio. To help make managing your investments easy, there's the Schwab One account. This no-fee, all-in-one account lets you invest in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Get checking, a Visa debit card, and ATM access. Plus, you'll save on commissions, too. To learn how you can get Schwab's award-winning software or informative company research reports at no cost, visit your local branch or call 1-800-790-4606.
We're Charles Schwab, and we invite you to visit any one of our local offices.
Make the right call every Sunday morning with NFL Preview, hosted by Vince Cellini and analyst James Lofton and Ron Meyer. For a full hour of coverage 1 hour earlier than the other guys, turn to NFL Preview, Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on CNN.
I'm Paul Reynolds. With Headline Sports, the Cowboys and Giants put a wrap on Week 1 of the NFL tonight at the Meadowlands. Dallas looking to get off on the right foot in Barry Switzer's second season. They're listed as 6-point favorites. It's the 10th time that Dallas has opened up on Monday night. That's to be expected, according to Switzer.
Because who we are, and I think that's why we're doing it. It's because who we are, and it's kind of special.
You're a little special. Does it make you think
I think we are. Our guys think we're special. Those players in there think they're special, and they are special. Is that and y'all are lucky to be here too.
Monday night is like a Michael Jackson being on stage at a concert. I mean, everybody want to know what's happening and what's going on. So that's what playing on Monday Night Football is like.
Here's your injury report from the weekend. Steelers All-Pro cornerback Rod Woodson will undergo an MRI tomorrow to determine the extent of his knee injury. He damaged his anterior cruciate ligament in Pittsburgh's win over the Lions while trying to tackle Barry Sanders. He could miss the rest of the season. The news not quite as bad for quarterback Neil O'Donnell. He fractured his pinky and will miss 2 weeks. Redskins QB Heath Schuler will be out 3 to 4 weeks after spraining his shoulder in their win over the Cardinals. Clyde Simmons doing the damage. Gus Frerotte takes over. Tennis, 4th round from the U.S. Open. Andre Agassi in action taking on Jared Palmer before Boris Becker over 13th seed Marc Rosset. On the ladies' side, 2nd seed Monica Seles moves on with a straight set win over number 11 Anka Huber. Afternoon baseball, the Yanks lead the Mariners in a slugfest. Cleveland taking on Detroit. Cal Ripken Jr. has gone deep for the Orioles. They're home to California. The Angels have lost 9 in a row. John Jaha, the Grand Slam. Milwaukee's at Minnesota. Just one game underway in the National League. The Cubs hosting the Rockies. Sammy Sosa, 2-run blast number 33. Paul Reynolds, Headline Sports.
This is Headline News, a CNN network.
They invade by the thousands, leaving an invisible chemical trail. But ants can be stopped by the exterminator, the Orkin Man. He wipes out ants and makes sure they never return. Guaranteed. Call him day or night at 1-800-800-ORKIN.
When a person suffers a stroke, the blood flow to the brain is reduced or cut off. Then a chain of chemical reactions known as the glutamate cascade causes severe damage to brain tissue. Once this occurs, your body is defenseless. But there is hope. Drug therapy may be able to stop the destruction of brain cells in the crucial hours after a stroke. We're working on it. Call today for a free booklet on stroke from America's pharmaceutical research companies.
Now on video, the Swan Princess is casting its spell over families and critics alike.
It's wonderful. We loved it.
Precisely. The Swan Princess, on sale now wherever videos are sold.
One day, I sent all the girls in my class to Alaska, nearly 4,000 miles away, to enjoy the frigid subarctic temperatures, glacial fissures, and the company of a giant polar bear.
It's not hard to tell a home with Comcast or a child with access to our educational programming. At home and in school, Comcast takes kids across the globe to explore, discover, and learn, which just naturally makes for smarter kids.
Polar bears can grow as high as 9 feet, but mine will be 25.
If you want to help create the future, Comcast...